Hi everyone, welcome to our second Facebook Live event. We are Mindset Transformations. We're located in Mokina, Illinois. Welcome to our Facebook Live event. This is called The Healing Spirit of Recovery. Today, it's me, Valerie. Rob isn't here today, but I'm here. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about the addictive voice versus the recovery voice. But I am glad that you're here listening to this Facebook Live event today. We will be here every Wednesday at 7:45. This is just a place to be inspired. We want to inspire you and encourage you in the way of recovery. We want you to be able to turn I will, like I will change. We want you to be able to change the I will into I am change. I am recovery. I am worthy, because you are worthy of recovery. And that is our purpose for being here, and that's our passion. It's because we believe that you're worthy of recovery. We're just here to really fight against addiction, hoping that the whole world can heal against addiction, and we want to be a powerful force against it. So with that being said, today I wanted to talk a little bit about addictive voice recognition technique. So if you can give me probably about 15 minutes of your time, let me just tell you a little bit about it. Addictive voice versus the recovery voice. And the addictive voice comes from rational recovery, basically, and it's called the addictive voice recognition technique. So before I really get into really talking about the addictive voice recognition technique, or AVRT, let me just tell you a little bit about another reason about why I'm here. I've been a substance abuse counselor. I've been in the field for many, many years, close to probably about, many years, say about 30 years or so. I started when I was 6, though, So anyway, I got involved in this. My father was an addict, so I am an adult child of an alcoholic, if you will. So my father was an alcoholic, and he was a heroin addict as well, drug addict. And I got involved in many relationships that repeated that pattern. They say that whatever your trauma is in childhood, if you don't resolve it, you'll repeat it in your relationships, and that's true. So my advice to you is continue to work on yourself and healing yourself if you grew up in that type of environment where your parents were substance users. Because if you don't, it's going to continue to replay itself in your life. And that's not pretty. It's not pretty. So that's one of the reasons I'm here, is to just be a guide. Just be a guide to help people change. So with that being said, back to AVRT, which is Addictive Voice Recognition Technique, which comes essentially from rational recovery. Okay, so what's the addictive voice? So the addictive voice, think of like a quadriplegic. Okay, so what is a quadriplegic? So they don't have use of their arms, and they don't have use of their legs. Then a quadriplegic, let's just say they're laying in bed, and when they want something, they have to ask somebody, their caretaker, right, to come and to help them. If they want, hey, I need some water, they might not say it like that, I'm just kind of exaggerating, but, I need some water, can you come bring me some water? I'm hungry, can you come bring me some food? I need you to come and, I did that, number one. Number two, I need you to come and clean me. Whatever they want or whatever they need, the caretaker is there to help them or to take care of them, right? In comparison, that's what the addictive voice does. So if you have an addiction, then your addiction is like a quadriplegic. So it's like a voice, so it sits back and it's telling you what to do. Like a quadriplegic, it's just a voice. Just think about that for a minute. Like it's just a voice that you hear in your head, literally. So this voice, this quadriplegic, says, go get me one more. Or I want another drink. Or don't tell nobody. Just go get a little bit. Or this one time, it won't hurt. I don't care what you need to do. Go and steal some money or go and rob somebody or whatever. But I need some now. And I need you to go do it because I can't do it. I need you. So essentially what it's doing is using you. It uses you to get what it wants. It wants. because it doesn't have the ability. So it doesn't have the arms and the legs to go get it itself. So it needs you to do it. This is going to sound real rough, but I'm going to be rough about it. So it's like pimping you. That addictive voice is like the pimp, and it's treating you like a hoe. Go, go give me one more. Go give me some more, So, yeah. Your addictive voice uses you to get what it wants. How about that? It's a voice that you are responding to. It can't literally make you get up and go do it, okay? Because it has no control over your arms and legs. It has no control over it. All it can do is speak to you to get you to go and do it. If you tell your addictive voice right now that you are never going to drink again, or you're never going to use again, just try that. Just tell yourself that and see what your addictive voice says. When you actually say, I'm never going to do that again, your addictive voice is going to say something like, right. Or you allow, or, you can do it sometimes. You can control it now. Because don't go that far. Now, come on. Don't be talking about you never going to do it again. Or don't be talking about you're about to stop or nothing like that. Now, you tripping. Now, wait a minute. Hold up. Now, let's work this out. I want to compromise with you. Why don't you just try to do it a little bit? And so, when you think about it, it's kind of like if somebody tries to attack you, if I came up and I'm ready to attack you, you're going to defend yourself. You're not going to let me just sit up and attack you. You're going to be like, you trying to kill me or something like that. No, you're going to fight. Similarly, that quadriplegic, that addictive voice, it's a voice. Quadriplegic is a voice. But it thinks that you want to kill it. So it's going to fight back because it doesn't want you to get rid of it. So it's going to fight back really hard. It's going to fight back with everything that it can. It's weapons. So your addictive voice has a lot of weapons. So then my question is to you, what's your recovery weapon? What's your recovery voice? So your addiction weapons has many, because it's been around like a long time, right? And it knows you very, very well. So it uses you as arsenal, I guess the word is, or weapons. So how? Well, it uses your pains, your traumas, your insecurities, your guilt, your shame, your memories, all of that. It's been with you for years, so it knows pretty much what to use to try to get you back. So if you're going to try to destroy it, well, I'm not going out that easy, so I'm going to use, let me let her remember that trauma event that happened. Yeah, I'm going to use that weapon, because I know from past experience, when I use that weapon, I get her, or I get them. That's how I'm going to get them back. And make them remember those memories. So when that happens, what's your recovery weapons? I've talked about the addictive voice. I've talked about it being a quadriplegic. I talked about it just being a voice. I talked about its weapons, list of weapons. So then what's your recovery voice? Your recovery voice basically is the part of you that wants to change. That part of you that'll say, I'm worthy, I'm in recovery. The part of you that says, no, I'm not going to go that way again. I'm playing the whole tape out. Let me tell you another difference between your addictive voice versus your recovery voice. Your addictive voice is essentially stupid, basically. Your recovery voice is essentially intelligent. When it comes to your addictive voice, your addictive voice has one answer all the time. That's when I say it's stupid, basically, because it's just yes. It's just, I want more. It doesn't have the capacity to say no. So if you're expecting your addictive voice to stand up and say, no, you don't need that, That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. Your recovery voice will say that when you're walking in the authority of your recovery voice, because your recovery voice is your cortex. Okay, it's intelligent. It can reason and think, and it can say, it can say no to things. So when you're walking in the authority of your recovery voice, and your addictive voice tries to seduce you into using, or argue with you into using, or intimidate you into using, that's when you can use the intelligence of your recovery voice and think, no, I'm not going back to where I was and how I destroyed myself and other people. No. And you choose to do the opposite. And that's really what it is. It's choosing to do the opposite of what you used to do. Choosing to do the opposite of what that addictive voice tries to tell you to do. Because it only has one mission and only has one goal. And one mission and one goal in life. And that's to use. That's its life mission. Of all the life missions you can have, your addictive voice life mission is to go get one more. To keep doing it. It doesn't even care that you're killing yourself or you're killing the people around you, destroying them or whatever. It didn't even tell you that, you're not hurting anybody else, you're just hurting yourself. Are you serious? People love you. So if you're destroying yourself, you're connected to other people. So it's like destroying other people around you. People around you love you and they have feelings. And when you're doing stuff like that, it hurts them just as much as it might hurt you at some point. It's always interesting to me when clients tell me, oh, I didn't hurt nobody but myself. What? But then at the same time they come into treatment and they're like, my family, they don't want to give me a chance, or my family, they're so angry with me and I'm trying to change. Because you hurt more than just yourself. They got sick of seeing you, basically, going out and staying out for days. Not only did they get sick of it, but they were scared. They haven't seen you in days. They haven't heard from you in days. Can you imagine going through that every single day? Or several times a week? That's painful. So, they get to the point, they go through this whole, I'm hurt, to I'm angry, to I'm just gonna just push you away. Talking from personal experience, matter of fact. So I'm just gonna push you away and reject you or whatever, because I can't deal with all this stuff, the pain that keeps coming from that addiction. So I just need to, some family just totally cut you off, and they don't cut you off because they don't love you anymore, because it hurts to them. It hurts. And so when you go into recovery, yeah, okay, so now you're healing, okay, but they're still hurting. And how many times have they seen you say, oh, I'm going to change, I'm going to do it this time, I'm going to do it this time. Then they get all happy, yay. Then you go back and you use. So that's got the scar and pain and pain and pain. So when you go into treatment, they're like, I guess. I don't think I'll really do it. And maybe you're really serious this time, but you taught them not to trust you. Now you got to teach them to trust you again. You taught them not to believe in you. Now you got to teach them to believe in you again. And that's a process. It's a process. But you got to keep doing it for you. And they'll come along eventually. I digress. Back to the addictive voice versus the recovery voice. So you really want to be able to know the difference essentially between, when you're hearing that addictive voice and when you're hearing that recovery voice, and you want to be able to separate the two. So when you hear that addictive voice with the goal of to get you used, it has no other goal but to try to get you back out there and use it. Okay, so when you hear that, you want to be able to tell the difference between that. And when you do hear that addictive voice, you want to be able to call it an it. There it is. Or there that beast is. It's a beast, or it's a it. But when you hear, I want to use, that's just a trick. It's a trick. I want to use. Now you feel like, I want to use. You change I. When it says, I want to use, you put a T there. It. That's kind of But anyway, you say it wants to use. Not I want to use. It wants to use. Expose it for what it really is. No, I don't want to use recovery voice. No, I don't want to use. No, it wants to use. Sometimes it'll be bold and it'll say, come on, we want to use. No, we don't want to use. It wants to use. The beast want to use. So you got to begin to know the difference between it and your recovery voice. The beast and your recovery voice. That's the key. If I can give you homework, that's the homework that I would give you. The homework is being able to tell the difference between the two in your head. That's the first homework I would give you. The second homework what I would give you is to write a list of its or the beast's weapons that it will use against you, because you want to study your enemy. When you're going into warfare, you want to study the enemy and you want to know what type of weapons they got. Oh, they got that type of weapons. Okay, they're going to use that? So if you know it's going to use that, then you got to say, okay, these are my weaponry. This is the weapon I'm going to use. So when they use that, I'm going to use this. Okay, and sometimes it might be little weapons that you might need to use against it. And sometimes you got to pull out that Uzi or something and use it against it. You know what I'm saying? You can't. So you got to have your weaponry, or arsenal. How do you say it? So anyway, it's always interesting because I ask clients, I say, what weapons did addiction use against you? What would it use? And they give me a whole list of different weapons that the addictive voice will use. And I say, well, what weapons will your recovery voice use? And they can't give me any, one or two. And I'm like, oh, that's an issue. Can't go into battle like that. Warrior. You know, and that's where individual counseling comes in, you know, that can help you build up your weaponry and help you build up your recovery voice and identify that addictive voice. You know, that's where counseling comes in, and that's where group counseling comes in. And, you know, that's why Mindset Transformations, plural, mindsettransformations.net, that's why we're here. We're here to help you understand the difference between those two. And like I say, and build up your weaponry. That's what the support groups are for. Whatever support group you go to. I'm not fighting over what support group you go to. Hey, I'm an advocate of whatever works. Whatever is going to save your life and get you out of your addiction. Whatever support groups works for you, do it. 12 Steps has been around for a long time, so they got a strong recovery force behind them. So, you know, if 12 Steps work for you, hey, do it. You know, I actually like 12 Steps. They have a lot of structure, and they have a lot of strength, you know, and the people that I know that's strong in their recovery are the ones that went through, like, the 12-step programs. But then there's other Smart Recovery. Well, and I think Smart Recovery branched off from Rational Recovery. There's Refuge Recovery, Dharma Recovery. I mean, there's so many different support groups out there. But like I say, it's whatever works for you. So I think that's all that I really wanted to say about that. Just make sure that you continue to build up your tools. And essentially, this is a coping skill. I'm going to talk to those for a minute from a spiritual perspective. If you don't come from a spiritual perspective, that's okay. I've already talked to you from one perspective, and I'm going to talk from another perspective. I'm going to talk to my Christians or believers. So if that's not what you want to hear, okay, you know, but like I said, I'm going to talk to them for a minute. Maybe you'll get something out of it. So from a spirit standpoint, I think that there is a spirit essentially connected to like that addiction. So I think that when you step over the line to addiction, because you have use, abuse, addiction. And you know, once you cross that wall, that bridge over to addiction, that's a whole nother land. And to come back over to use or abuse is not going to happen. That's over. And that's a whole nother Facebook Live. You can't walk back over to use and abuse. You know, that's a manipulation strategy of your addictive voice, make you think you can control it. again. And if that's where you're at in your journey, that's where you're at. But the fact of the matter is, that's a trick of your addictive voice. You can't, once you cross over to addiction, you can't control it. You'll never really control it again. Just gotta let it go. But from a spirit perspective, do you ever wonder, like, when you try to stop using, how it is that all of a sudden you might, I've heard people say they walk by and they're walking down the street and that they see a bag of whatever they use. They see a baggie and it has it in it. It has it in it. I think that's, now we're getting into some spiritual stuff. Or you start meeting people. You're trying to recover and you start meeting people, but all the people that you meet are still using. I had somebody say they met somebody and they thought they was cool and they went over their house. Next thing they know, they were firing up. It's like, why is it that I'm meeting all these people? And, you know, I'm running into all these situations where what I struggle with is still around. Spiritually, I just think that negative spirit that's surrounding addiction, the evil spirit or whatever that's somehow surrounding that addiction, has also studied you and studied maybe throughout your generations. I mean, those like evil spirits are not dumb, they're extremely smart. And they've studied your generational line. They know what they can do and what strategies they can do to tempt you as well. Somebody who doesn't have an issue with alcohol, they're never going to be tempted with no alcohol, you know, because that spirit is not connected, can I say, with them in that way. So you'll never be tested with something that you don't battle with or your family hasn't battled with. Because it's kind of, like I said, spirit connected to it. I think that one way to overcome that is for those who believe in prayer, through prayer, really diving into the Word of God, that I believe that heals. But that's me. That's what I mean. You may not believe that. You might believe in something else, whatever works for you. I just want to throw that piece in from a spiritual standpoint, that some things we overcome. Well, I think everything kind of gets overcome by prayer. But I think that when we get into addiction, then we've opened the doors to things that you didn't want to open the door to. And I hear that a lot. And I think you can attest to that, actually. I've heard people say in their addiction, like they've seen things that's from a spiritual standpoint. They've seen things and they know things. And that's because you've opened your spiritual gate. Sometimes we can open our spiritual gate to good things. Sometimes you can open a spiritual gate to bad things. And so we need the spirit. We need the spirit of your higher power or your spirit of God in order to help you close that gate that you opened and overcome. And that's a whole nother Facebook Live. And that's a whole nother battle. But you can do it. I have faith in each and every single one of you guys that y'all can overcome and y'all can change. I have mad faith that you can change. And I have mad faith that you can change I will into I. Not just I will change, I want to change. No. We are here at mindsettransformations.net to help you change I will into I am. I am change. I am recovery. And I am worthy. If you need to talk to us anymore, we are available. You can reach us at 708-537-7332. That's 708-537-7332. We do holistic substance abuse treatment. We do DUI evaluations. We do DOT SAP evaluations. We work with adults. Adolescents, the family, because you know the family needs to heal too. All of our clients free of charge. Not only do they get regular counseling, traditional counseling, individual and group, we also offer them both Eastern and Western strategies to help heal Reiki, craniosacral therapy, sound vibration, all type of mindfulness strategies to heal the body. That's to heal the body. So we have things to help heal the body and the mind, and then there's other things to heal the spirit. Okay? So we're here for you. Give us a call so we can be here to help you on your road to recovery. Because that's what we're here for. Oh, one last thing. Oh my God, give me a minute. Let me do this. about to close. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes of your time. That's all I need. There's a prayer called St. Francis of the, what is it, Sissy? Make me an instrument of your peace. So I think this prayer is a great example of spirit. It's a great example also of a difference between that addictive voice, that spirit, or that recovery voice. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Of your peace, not chaos. Make me an instrument of your peace, because I'm tired of being used as an instrument of chaos. So where there is hatred, that's that addictive voice. I want you to hate everything and everybody. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. That's a recovery voice. So when you're addictive voice, I want you to show hatred, do the opposite. Sow love. Where there is injury, let me show pardon. Where there is doubt, addictive voice always wants you to have doubt about this. Self-doubt about doubt yourself, doubt everybody's always in doubt. Instead, do the opposite. Have faith. Where there is despair, just everything is just hopeless. Everything is just so terrible. Your addictive voice, jump on that. Opportunistic. Do the opposite. Have hope. Where there is darkness, where you're feeling darkness inside yourself or around you, so your addictive voice, jumping on that. Light. You be the light. You find the light. You go be around light. Because darkness cannot stay when light comes in. When room can be dark and light comes in, it brightens up everything. Darkness cannot be around light. Find light in someone or something. Where there is sadness. You feeling sad inside. You feeling so bad inside. All these bad, sad, negative thoughts, beating yourself up, and your addictive voice loves that, by the way. It's an opportunity to tell you to go get one more. Feeling sad inside, do the opposite. Find joy. Write down some Bible verses, or write down some positive self-talk that you can say to yourself. If you can't do it, go talk to somebody full of joy. Who can help bring you up. Always have somebody like that around. Oh, divine master, God, who I call him God. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console. Addiction is so selfish. It's a selfish thing. It's about self-seeking. So instead of wanting to just be consoled all the time, go out and console somebody else who needs it. Get out of yourself. It's not always about you. Your addiction wants you to be all into yourself. Reach out and help somebody else. To be understood as to understand. You always want to be somebody to understand you. Try to understand somebody else. Do the opposite. It's about choosing the opposite behavior. To be loved as to love. Show love. 1 Corinthians 13. Talks about 3 things: faith, hope, and love. Faith, hope, and love. And out of all 3 of those, the most important one is love. So go out and show somebody love. Get out of yourself. And in showing somebody love, you've uplifted you. You've uplifted your spirit. You've changed your energy. Changed you. You've changed them. Now your mind isn't even on one. You know, your addiction can't stand in the presence of love. It can't. It can't do it. So show love. For it is in giving that we receive. Be a giver. Stop taking and taking and taking. And what can you get? What can you get more of? Stop. Go give. Because it's in giving that you will receive. You might receive joy. You might receive love. Be a giver instead of a taker. For it is given that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. So sometimes you get a recovery and now you're like holier than thou and judgmental. And you want to judge everybody. You want to take everybody's inventory. You want to criticize everything and everybody. People pardon you And you want them to pardon you, and you're hoping they pardon you soon. Try pardoning people, forgiving people, or just pardon them. Okay, you know, they being human or whatever. I understand. Maybe they having a bad day. Stop judging everybody, because as you judge other people, as you send out that spirit of judgment, it's gonna come back on you. So stop that. So it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. So the more that you pardon others, then all that you want around you, that forgiveness and that pardoning, that's going to come back to you. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Dying to that old self. Dying to your old ways. Dying to the old way of thinking. Dying to the old way of behavior. Dying to being around them people, places, and things. And just dying to that addiction, man, and being born into who you are, who you're meant to be, who God made you on this earth to be, who God predestined you to be in your recovery. You know, maybe you've been using for so long that you don't even know who the heck you are, but that's okay. Every day, just walk in your newness. I always say, just write down a list of who you want to be. If you can write down who you want to be, how you want to think, how you want to feel, how you want to be, write it down and just every day just start doing it. And at the end of the day, reflect in your recovery what you did, because that's who you are away from the substance. And believers in Christian faith, we say, you died an old man and you're born again. My prayer for you is that you are born again in your recovery. Peace out.